tonight, we're gonna make dinner. What up, Odie? Dinner in the house. Hello and welcome to It Came From a Vlog. My name is Kate, and on this video we're going to do 4 of my favorite dinner recipes. So let's get started. The first recipe is rigatoni with sausage and fennel from Ina Garden. We start by shredding 1 cup of Parmesan. Grated the cheese. And we had some peeled garlic cloves already done, so I just kind of chopped them up in my Ninja Chopper with some olive oil. This is the best way for me to make that peeled garlic last. And then I don't have to take the time to peel it when I'm ready to do a recipe. It lasts a lot longer when I put it with the olive oil and just let it sit in the fridge. The next part is chopping up 1 bulb of fennel. First, I cut off the stalks on the top. You can reserve them, save them for some kind of chicken stock or something like that. Then I cut off the base and go ahead and chop it into whatever size pieces you like. I kind of small dice them, small-ish. By the way, if you've never had fennel before, this is what it looks like. It is wonderful, wonderful. So don't skip the fennel unless you've tried it and you truly hate it, which I say try again. Maybe you haven't had it in the right recipe. I don't know. Oh no. Even babies love it. Now I'm using my Ninja Chopper to chop up an onion, adding olive oil to the pan. And I saute my onion, fennel, and some garlic for 7 minutes till it's nice and tender. Now I'm adding my package of sausage, breaking it up, and then opening a bottle of wine. Add 1 cup of wine to deglaze. I like to let the wine cook off a little bit before I start adding the next stuff. Now I'm just eyeballing in some heavy cream and half and half. Of course you can follow the recipe exactly, but I'm a little lazy. Add 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, stir it up, and then I like to leave it to simmer while I cook the rigatoni. Bubble, bubble, toil and trouble. I've got my very salted water I'm bringing up to a boil. Don't you hate waiting for water to boil? It's the worst. Then we just cook according to the package and then drain it. I know this is weird, but I'm gonna go on a very, very short little rant. When I started this channel, I thought, I am not going to do that weird voiceover voice that everybody does where they talk in this certain tone, but here I am doing it. So sorry about that, but oh well. Season to taste, add some chopped parsley and the shredded parm, and give it a whirl. I got Sergio to Vanna White the heck out of this one. Oh, so good. So good. And here's Holden eating something completely different, because only in a perfect world will my kids eat anything remotely healthy. Next up is a copycat recipe from Texas Roadhouse. It's a grilled salmon with lemon butter. I'm starting out just by making some rice, rinsing it, and, doing my measurements in my pot. But this recipe is bomb. Sergio loves this dish from Texas Roadhouse, and I was like,
dude, I think I can make that on the cheap.
It's really easy. On this night, I made it for us and my parents, so I doubled the recipe. I make a lemon butter using fresh lemons, butter, salt, and pepper. I like to use my KitchenAid mixer because I can whip it up really smooth. I just start with some fresh lemons and juice them. Then I added the butter. Bless this mess because I'm doing the camera one-handed and doing the butter with the other. And I'm also watching Bailey Sarian. Yes! Shout out Bailey! I love her true crime videos. You guys, true crime? Yes or yes? I mean, yes or no, but also yes. Of course, yes. Always. I love how I say Bailey like we're on a first name basis when obviously she has no idea who I am.
Hello darkness, my old friend.
I'm adding my salt and pepper to my butter and whipping it up till it's super smooth.
Super smooth.
Look at that, so good. I like to make extra because you can just keep some in the fridge and put it on chicken or steak or whatever throughout the week. Yum. I have to apologize because I truly have no idea how to get the skin off of salmon. Oh my goodness, it was so complicated. I do not have this skill. It's something I need to work on. I had to look up YouTube videos and I still totally butchered it, and not in a good way. The good news is you could totally keep the skins on, or you could buy salmon that's already skinless. However, this salmon from Aldi came with the skin on and was such a good price, I couldn't pass it up. Look at the complete and utter absence of technique. Wow. You can't have all the gifts. It is a nightmare. I'm so sorry, salmon. You did not deserve this. I serve this with some steamed veggies, which you put the lemon butter on top of. I have heated up a pan with some butter. I put the salmon in. I do 3 to 4 minutes on each side so I get a nice crust. This time I doubled the recipe since we had company too. Season both sides with salt and pepper. In the meantime, I cut up some lemons to serve on the side. Because I'm making so much salmon, I work in batches and keep putting it into the oven just to keep it warm. Load up the steamed veggies with that delicious lemon butter, but perhaps I should use a bigger bowl next time. Here it is all finished up. Lemon butter on everything. Lemon butter on your salmon. Lemon butter on your steamed veggies. I also had leftover black beans, which I put on top of the rice I made while I was cooking the salmon. That night, I also decided to make a homemade Caesar salad dressing. Since we had a lot of leftover salmon, I thought it would make great salmon Caesar salads for the following night. These are all the ingredients that you need, and this Caesar salad dressing recipe was the best. The recipe does call for Parmesan, and I only had Asiago, but it was totally fine. I got this recipe from Once Upon a Chef's blog, and it's so good you're never going to want to have store-bought dressing again. You just start by mincing up 2 garlic cloves, which I just use my garlic press, and then some anchovy paste, which smells disgusting, by the way. Cutting and juicing up 2 lemons. It actually calls for 1, but mine were a little bit old, so 2. Anyway, the more the merrier, in my opinion. Add a teaspoon of Dijon mustard and whisk vigorously. Add in a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce and whisk it up again. Add 1 cup of good quality mayo. And stir. Grate up a half cup of cheese. By the way, the Asiago was totally fine. You just add that in, season with salt and fresh cracked pepper, and that's it. Tonight we are having the leftover salmon with the Caesar salad that I prepared yesterday. It's been sitting in the fridge and it is super flavorful and delicious. Can't wait to dig into this guy. I'm gonna make a nice Caesar with romaine, croutons, tomatoes, and salmon on top. This is how it turned out. It was so good and such a good use of those leftovers. The last recipe is one of my and my family's favorite recipes. I have had to have made it about 50 times at this point, but it is Ina Garden's perfect roast chicken with vegetables. On this night, I decided to make 2 and just double the recipe, have some for my parents to take home. You can always use the leftovers for chicken salad. Personally, I like the leftovers as is. I start by rinsing my chicken inside and out, patting it dry, and then season liberally with salt and pepper on both sides and especially in the cavity. You want to make sure that you're putting plenty of seasoning, otherwise your chicken will be bland and flavorless. Once the cavity has been seasoned, you stuff it with a bunch of thyme and half a lemon each. And the recipe calls for a head of garlic. However, all my garlic was already diced up, so I just went ahead and put a big old heaping spoonful inside. Take some melted butter, and I use this little basting brush to brush it all over. And then I season yet again with salt and pepper. Trust me, it's worth it. The seasonings are really what keeps your skin nice and crispy and flavorful. The next step is very important, so don't skip it. You're gonna truss up your chicken. If you're not sure how to do it, you can look up a little step-by-step tutorial online, but it's very easy. You just use some kitchen twine, which you go around the body, and what you really want to do is just get those wings and drumsticks close together so they cook at the same temperature as the body and don't overcook. Next, you peel and chop up an onion. Then I just throw that in the pan. Then I chop up some carrots that I already peeled and rinsed. Then you go ahead and add those to the pan. You are supposed to use a roasting pan. I don't have that, but these glass dishes are totally fine. And we're going to chop up another bulb of fennel, just like for the sausage rigatoni that we did earlier. Add that to the pan, toss it with salt, pepper, and olive oil. The recipe says 425 for an hour and a half, but sometimes it's more like 2. Just go ahead and check for the temperature a couple times. As long as it gets to 165, you're good to go. You cover the chicken with some aluminum foil and let it rest for 30 minutes. In the meantime, I whipped up a basic green bean casserole. While the green bean casserole is in the oven, I decided to make a gravy with the drippings from the chicken. The recipe doesn't call for it. I don't always do it, but when I do actually make the gravy, I think, oh my gosh, why don't I do this every single time? It's easy and it's so good. I just remove the vegetables the best I can, put the drippings in a pot, make a little slurry of milk or half and half with cornstarch, and mix that in. I like to leave some of the vegetables in, especially a few carrots and some onions, and use my immersion blender to mix it all up and thicken it. I finished up the green bean casserole while my gravy was thickening. If I had some leftover white wine, that would have been great to add as well. Season with salt and pepper. This is what it looks like all finished up. It's so good. The skin is crispy and flavorful. The gravy is amazing. Bon appetit!